First things first, Glenn. How are you?
I'm okay, thank you. I'm good.
Well, you recently, or it's been already a while, but you did the Little Big Tour of Ireland.
Yes.
Was there something about Ireland you discovered on that tour that you didn't know before?
Yeah, it's a good question. I think every time you revisit your home or revisit the place you're from, you're finding new stuff and new things. That tour was an interesting one because I was straight off a tour in America and we went from playing sort of larger rooms to these small rooms, myself and Lisa O'Neill. And I guess in a way, your tribe, your home people, you're always welcome back. You're always welcome to come and play gigs, and at the same time, there's no real knowledge of where you've been or what you've been doing. So there's there is a comfort in going and playing these rooms in Ireland to people that might know your music, you know, not necessarily a little better, but more maybe in a different way than maybe an international audience does. It was great. It was a really interesting tour.
Are the shows then very different from the bigger shows?
They're different in so much as that they're less, there's less formality, and there's very little formality in the big ones anyway, but there's even less with an Irish crowd. There's more familiarity. People, you can get into conversation with people on the night, and the gig can kind of go in a different direction than you planned. In a way, when you play to your home crowd, there's a great exercise. You have to sort of let go a lot. You have to just sort of see where it takes you. And whereas at a bigger concert, you get to steer it more yourself because people expect you to steer it.
Was that intimacy or that connection with the others, was that something you missed doing those bigger shows? Or did you still perform in bars?
No, it's not something I miss, but it is something that keeps you sharp. It is something that keeps you focused on what it is you do. I think for artists who play big venues, by the time they've reached a big venue, they're so happy to be there that they don't ever want to look back. They don't ever want to go play a small room again. It's like as if, you know, you want to keep on climbing. But I think for a musician like me who plays songs on just the guitar, sometimes it's actually very important to go back to where you began and play small rooms or play on the street and sort of figure out, do I still like this? Can I still do this? You know, if I can do it here, I can do it anywhere. And in a way, going and playing in Ireland was more of a challenge in many ways than playing bigger rooms.
And I imagine then that now that now when you're writing songs, it's still just you and the guitar. That's how you write.
Yeah, that's how I write. Sometimes I write with a band, where like maybe we're sound checking and I'll have an idea, and then someone might do something and it goes, "Oh, that's beautiful," and then that might inspire you to go dig a little deeper into an idea. But more or less, it's alone on a piano or a guitar.
So when it came to your upcoming record, Didn't He Ramble?
Yeah.
Well, there's one very Irish song on there,
yeah.
which is McCormack's Wall.
Yeah.
Where did that come from?
It was a song I wrote down as a poem first, and it came from an evening with a friend, hanging out, and one of those great, unexpected, romantic evenings of drinking and moving through the city and taking things in, and it was a really great night. And so I just wrote a piece, wrote some words about it the next day, and then I was sitting at the piano, and I sort of fleshed it out, and it became a song. And I liked it. I didn't think too much of it. When I was in recording the album, I played it, and then John Sheehan from the Dubliners, he came and joined me and played a little bit of violin on it. And so for me, that made it special. I mean, the song was nice, but it made it very special for me. So I put it on the record.
Because you've talked about some of your early influences being Bob Dylan, Van Morrison, Leonard Cohen. But I suppose that Irish element was always there, right? It had to be.
It's part of the fabric of a lot of Irish musicians. It's something we grow up with, and in pubs, a lot of music is played, traditional music is played, and also, you know, uncles and aunts and sessions at home, and you know, there was always somebody singing a song, you know, uncles passing songs down, or drunkles as we sometimes call them, passing songs down or learning songs from your grandfather and your mother, and so the traditional Irish music is always a big part of every gathering in Ireland.
So when it came to the record, did you, because you say the McCormack's Wall was something that kind of ended up there by chance.
Yeah.
So was there a concept of what you wanted to or an idea of what you wanted to do for this record?
No, the only concept I really had was that I wanted all of the songs to be complete.
Okay.
I wanted songs that I could read the lyric and know exactly what I meant. And I also wanted songs that I could play on just the guitar alone or with a full band. So in a way that sounds like a simple task, but it's actually quite difficult to record an album of songs that you can definitely just play alone. And then also the lyrics came, and I rewrote the lyrics and changed the lyrics and wrote new verses and took verses out. And I've done that in the past, but less so. And this time I worked much more on the craft of what I was saying. Sometimes I reversed the meaning a little bit. Sometimes I wrote a song and I changed it to the opposite intent. And I found it to be much more craft than art at times, because in the past I would have trusted art more. You know, this idea of a flash that comes out of the sky and you go, whoa, what is that? And you get it, and this beautiful idea is born. But then if you don't really apply the front of your head and sit down and go, well, what is it? And you know, work on it and push it around and see what shape it makes, then sometimes the idea can just evaporate.
Why this change in approach? Was it something that happened, or?
No, I think it's just, I think as you get older, as I get older, I think when I turned 40, something changed in my writing. I became, I guess, a bit more, I guess I wanted to know a little bit more about what I was singing about. I wanted to be sure that what I was singing about was specific, and if I had a particular person in mind, I wanted to sing it to that person, and I wanted the lyric to mean more in a pointed way. So I guess it's just going a little deeper. Whereas before I might have had an idea, I might have fleshed it out, and I might have been happy with how the words all sounded and felt much more than what they meant. Sometimes it's important to if you have a lyric, just to go with how it feels and not what it means. And it can leave the song kind of vague and interesting, and what do you mean by this lyric? And that's good, I like that. But then also on this record, I wanted to be able to say, well, this is exactly what I mean by this lyric. This is what it means to me.
So can I assume then that with every song you know exactly each line where it comes from?
Yeah.
Well, we probably don't have time to talk about all of them. So
Sure.
is there one that sticks out for you, one that maybe gave you the most trouble writing it, or one that's very close to you?
There's one or two. It's actually the song "Didn't He Ramble," which is now not on the record, is the song that's given me the most trouble.
Okay.
And I eventually had to leave it off the record because I didn't feel like I quite nailed it. And it was a tough one to leave off because it was the one that meant the most to me, to be honest. But it wasn't exactly right, so I couldn't put it on.
Sorry, when was this song written? Was it early on?
No, this song was written in the last 3 months.
Okay.
Yeah. And it broke my heart to leave it off, but I knew that I knew that if I couldn't sing it entirely, then I couldn't use it. The song "My Little Ruin" was a song that I worked a lot on the lyrics to get them just right. Pretty much all the songs, but I remember that song really sitting for a week and just every day going back to it and throwing bits out and bringing bits in, and until I eventually got something where I was like, yes, now it begins to take shape.
What was the initial spark of that song?
A friend on this record, a lot of the songs are about my friends, which is interesting. Usually, not usually, but historically, it's been usually about a girl. And I'm happy to say in that department things are okay for the first time in my writing history. So with Ruin, it was about a friend who's really, really talented, but just keeps on blowing it, you know, keeps on creating chaos and almost is afraid of judgment, and so therefore is constantly hiding behind alcohol or drugs and not just doing the work. And in a way, myself and my friend would be quite different in that I go and I work a lot. He has a joke. He says you're the practice and I'm the theory, which is interesting, you know, because he can only really be the theory because he doesn't go and ever play, and so therefore he might be a genius. He might not be, but he hasn't been judged.
Has he heard the song?
Yeah.
What did he think?
I haven't told him it was about him.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.